tour. Please welcome to the stage the moderator, Nadim Omar, head of the Department of Research in International Relations at the Policy Center for the New South. Please welcome our speakers, Saïd Fatih Jal.
I'm not Mahdi, but he's coming. He will be coming. Well, first let me welcome you. We're very glad to have you all here. It's an important moment for us. It's the 9th edition, and we've what we tried to do here is really to establish a tradition, a moment in the year where we get together on security, Africa, and how we see the world from here, from the continent. And I would like also, of course, to thank all my colleagues, to you for being here, and particularly Bassou and his team, and all the contributors to our annual report on the state of geopolitics and security and international politics in Africa, which is the annual report that will be presented to you later on. Of course, we're meeting at a very special point. We're all looking at the Middle East, but there are a few lessons to be drawn on the evolution on the global geopolitical landscape. And I think this will be at the menu of our talks over the next 2 days, that is for sure. What it means for us, the challenges that the world is facing with respect to multilateralism, the way foreign policy is conducted today, what it means for us in Africa, what it means also in terms of the partnerships we have with the global powers, with the BRICS and emerging nations of the world. My claim is that Africa, in a way, is sort of benefiting, and it's a question for you, from this new landscape in various ways. And we will have discussions, I think, in the panels. But of course, it has expanded, I would say, the playground for the continent. But at the same time, of course, it's a more risky world. In a way, you're by yourself. Countries are by themselves, in a sort of way. So if you're sort of strong and pacified internally, you're stronger. You would tend to benefit from this new landscape. If you're weak and in a way divided internally in your society, then it's going to be more difficult. The second point is that official development assistance and the solidarity mechanisms as we know them, as they have sort of developed over the past 80 years, are challenged, and in some ways, for some of them, and I, say a world which is maybe dead in a sense, official development assistance as we knew it. It will have to be replaced. Can it be? With what? And what does it mean? And I think that's also an additional pressure for governments to deliver for their citizens in terms of economic policies, social policies, etc. So that's very challenging, and no one can hide anymore behind, let's say, official development assistance and this kind of solidarity mechanism. So I think that we need to grasp a little bit that sort of those challenges. We have strengths in Africa. We have the African Union, despite all its sort of imperfections, but it's something we need to build on, and that's the vision here at APSACO. It's really that a community, you get together on those issues, and within the context I try to describe very briefly, and so in a way it's also what we're trying to do at the Policy Center in general is sort of it's not new, so I think we a bit anticipated that. We started 11 years ago. It's It's that Africa needs to have a view on the world, not only its own affairs internally as a continent or domestically within countries, but also on transformational issues, on global governance, on things that are beyond the African continent. So I think our voice is essential, and it needs to be structured, organized, serious, rigorous, and so we need to get to work. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen by itself. I think there's, and I'll conclude on that. I think there's one of the mission of the Policy Center is really the transmission across generations. So we're very passionate about equipping young Moroccans and young students we have here at the university with the background and the wisdom to be actors of this changing world. So part of the journey that Africa has to go through is also a mental transformation, and this doesn't happen. Overnight. It takes energy, it takes time. It goes through the type of training, the type of knowledge we transmit through university and other type of institutions in charge of equipping our younger generation with the autonomy, the capacity to understand, and I think also values that are essential. I think it's a world where values are questioned, and I think Africa has a lot to give to its own citizens, but also to the world in terms of value. So, and I think that epitomizes Morocco as an old nation with a thick, I will say, a thick cultural and history that gives us, in a way, a certain sense of responsibility, but also of comfort and self-confidence in how we relate to others, with, of course, modesty and curiosity. I think we are curious to know what you guys have in your minds. How do you see these questions, the world, and what we need to do, and what can we do together, beyond just, of course, speeches and concretely. And I gave you a few examples. The Policy Center is very much involved in what we do on the university side, is very involved in domestic debates. We have a young professional program, structured internship programs, where we try at our level, of course, at our scale, to irrigate and to give that posture and that sort of philosophy and, in a way, view of the world that I think is essential. And the last point would be, my conclusion would be that let's not get diverted as well. There's in our, as individuals, but also as nations, as corporations, and any kind of institution, there's a maximum bandwidth of things you can do. And let us not be fully, of course, we need to understand what's going on at the world level, but let's preserve a portion of that bandwidth to take care of ourselves, to work on our domestic policies at the nation level, but also at the continental level. We have many things to do. The African Continental Free Trade Zone is a fundamental project. It needs to be taken care of. There are progress that have been made, but there's so much things that we need to do together in terms of infrastructure, in terms of the corridors, in terms of the business environment, of trade facilitation, investment facilities, a long list of reform we need to do together. One of the Morocco's initiatives that have been spearheaded by His Majesty is trying to do something at the regional level, at the Atlantic, at the Sahel, sort of Morocco, Sahel, Atlantic region, I think is one attempt to sort of get organized in one of the sub-regions of Africa. I think there are also interesting development around the Lobito corridor. There are other projects in other regions of Africa as well. And I think that's I think essential to that we devote our time, expertise, and commitment both at the political level and the expert level. So once again, many thanks for being here, and looking forward to our exchanges, conversations, discussion over the coming day and tomorrow as well. Thank you.
Mr. Karim Aynaoui, Executive President of the Policy Center for the New South, thank you for your introductory remarks. And now we will start the first plenary session of the African Peace and Security Annual Conference, entitled Africa's Sub-Regional Landscapes in 2024. Please welcome to the stage the moderator, Mehdi Omar,